La 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 la. We're reading The Lord of the Rings, and we realized in that last video, I realized when I was editing it, that we didn't really talk about the book much. We didn't get a chance. And so we had some fun conversations, and Tezi had some really good questions. That's one of the nice things about reading the book with Tezi, is that, especially because it feels like the first time, even though I know she's read it already, at least parts of it, the first 3/4 of it, whatever. That was a while ago, and this is pretty fresh, it seems to me, from her questions and her thoughts and stuff. So we've been through Moria, and that was pretty amazing. Tell us about what's going on in the Moria part of the story. What happens?
Gandalf is leading them through the mines.
Oh, and talk a little louder, sweetie.
And he's only been there once before, and it was a long time ago, and he was going like the opposite direction. So he's trying to like remember the way and figure out the way and stuff like that. And they find that it's deserted, basically. And then eventually they find Balin's tomb.
Yeah. And interestingly, it comes out, I find, the more I read it, the more I pick up on. You don't pick up on everything the first time, even the first 20 times you read something as deep and as rich as Lord of the Rings. And Balin was actually one of the original dwarves from The Hobbit,
Yeah.
which I never put two and two together. I know, I'm an idiot. And didn't realize he was unhappy at a certain point at the Lonely Mountain. They had reestablished, after the Hobbit after the Hobbit story, the Hobbits, established their kingdom there. But Balin decides that he wants to go and try to find if there's a ring of power in Moria, as well as he wants to reestablish Moria as a kingdom again. And it seems like it was an unwise idea. Gandalf even says as much. He says it was foolhardy, or I forget the term he uses. So anyways, yeah, they discover that Balin was not successful.
Well, no, he was successful for a while.
Well, a very short while.
Like, they did kind of, like, repopulate and rebuild it and everything, and then he became, like, the Lord of Moria, or the King of Moria, or whatever, for, like, 5 years.
Yeah, less than 5 years.
But there was still a time before that where, like, they were, like, building the kingdom and stuff before he ever became the ruler, which he was for 5 years or almost. Or
Less than 5 years,
yeah. Okay.
And then, we find out that they were routed by orcs and the Balrog, of course. So that was pretty intense, and the great, battle between Gandalf and the Balrog. I love that section there. They flee after losing Gandalf. They flee into Lothlorien, and we get the story of Nimrodel.
Mm-hmm.
And I love, of course, the whole Lothlorien scene. The movie does, an okay job of trying to depict Galadriel and how she communicates, in a sense, with the Fellowship. She's able to kind of test them and test their intentions, almost psychically or mentally. She's able to talk to them or ask them questions without using her voice, just her mind, in a sense, connecting to their minds, and those are great. Those moments are really powerfully written. And then of course we have Gimli, who, in a sense, he beholds Galadriel and her kindness when she speaks to him, using the actual dwarven words for certain mountains and places, and such a love, a deep love, just wells up inside of him for Galadriel, and I think it's fun to see where that relationship goes. It's fantastic, and it's so much more meaningful than the quasi-romantic relationship that happens in the Hobbit.
Don't even bring it.
Yeah. So anyways, what did you find, sweetie?
The part about Nimmerdal. So, she was lost far in the south in the passes of the White Mountains, and she came not to the ship where Amroth, her lover, waited for her. But in the spring, when the wind is in the new leaves, the echo of her voice may still be heard by the falls that bear her name, and when the wind is in the south, the voice of Amroth comes up from the sea.
Wow, that's cool. With Tolkien...
But neither of them ever came back.
One of the beautiful elements that you get again and again and again. It's in the Old Forest. It's even in the Shire, really. It's in Tom Bombadil, certainly. It's in the stories in Bree. It's at places like Weathertop. It's in Rivendell, of course. And then even Moria in certain dark ways. And then in Lothlorien, for sure. With Tolkien, memory is so important. And when I mean memory, I mean capital M. Remembering the past, remembering love, remembering courage, remembering honor, remembering noble deeds done at certain times. You know what I mean? And he reminds you of that, sometimes explicitly, and sometimes it's just kind of this undercurrent that's there. Talk about that one moment you asked about it, when it said Frodo, in a sense, when he was on...
yeah. When he's in Lothlorien at the heart of it, the old heart of it.
Right, on the hill.
Yeah, on the hill.
What's it called?
No. It's Karen Amroth.
Karen Amroth.
Mm-hmm. His name's Amroth too. Interesting.
What does it say? It says Frodo, in a sense, has this vision, if you will, and at the same time, Aragorn was remembering his meeting of Arwen there, and he was caught up in this vision, if you will. And it says something like, Frodo, did you find it? Oh, go for it.
Frodo felt that he was in a timeless land that did not fade or change or fall into forgetfulness. When he had gone and passed again into the outer world, still Frodo the wanderer from the Shire would walk there, upon the grass among Elenor and Nifredil in fair Lothlorien.
Nice. And, there's that sense of, Tezi was asked about it. She was kind of like, and it's a great question, well, is that literal? Is he literally going to be there? And I think the answer is not that. It's not like a parallel universe. You don't get those types of things in Tolkien so much, as rather his memory. This is how I interpret it. His memory will always be there in two ways. One, Frodo will always remember that moment being there. And second, that place will remember him. And so in a sense, it's real, that just as when Aragorn is standing there and he's remembering meeting Arwen, Frodo looks at Aragorn and sees him in a different light.
Yeah,
Can you read that part?
Mm-hmm.
It's so awesome.
Aragorn was wrapped in some fair memory, and as Frodo looked at him, he knew that he beheld things as they once had been in this same place. For the grim years were removed from the face of Aragorn, and he seemed clothed in white, a young lord, tall and fair, and he spoke words in the Elvish tongue to one whom Frodo could not see.
That's awesome. Yeah. So something, Sam might say this is elf magic, right? But I believe that with Tolkien, it's just this, it's a beauty, it's an art, it's a remembering, it's the power of the elves, yes. And it's, I don't know, it's that type of stuff that, to me, makes the book always and ever so much more enjoyable, no matter how good the films are. And I love the films. I do love the films. But you can't do that on film, unless the film's like 18 hours long, in which case, that probably wouldn't be good either. So anyways, great parts. Really enjoyed that.